back at it again. Looking forward to getting back on the field this weekend against Mississippi Valley State University. We recognize that it is their homecoming, and pretty much what you've heard from everybody else, you know, the expectations that they're going to play their best, they're going to give their best. And this is one of those games where, you know, you want to make sure that your team is prepared and that they understand what they're walking into, and that they go out there and they play the way you want them to play. So looking forward to getting that done. Yes, there is a certain degree of nervousness. Yes, it's been almost 3 weeks. And so, you know, hopefully we get over those pre-snap jitters or after the first play or so and be back into the groove, and we'll play well.
What kind of an athlete is Austin Bray, their quarterback?
Good passer. Does a good job with the ball in his hands. You know, they've had some problems trying to protect him, so they kind of adjusted how they throw the ball, so they try to get the ball out of his hands fairly quickly. But then that's a theme that we've seen throughout the rest of the year. Everybody knows, everybody understands that we play aggressively and we try to get after the quarterbacks. And so we've seen a lot of three-step drops, ball out of the quarterback's hand, dropping it off to the backs, short passes across the middle, slants, you know, curls, flats. So they do the same kind of thing, and he does a good job doing that.
Just looking at the stats from last game, I see the passing was pretty evenly distributed. Do you know if they run like a 2-quarterback system, or was that?
Well, they played with 3 quarterbacks over the games that we've been watching. Number 9 played a limited amount, but Bray and the other kid have played significant amounts. I'm not quite sure the rotation because I haven't watched. I've only seen a little bit of their last game this past Saturday, but they both played a pretty good amount. One is a lefty, and then Bray's a righty, and they kind of mix them up.
So that being said, what are some of the challenges of just kind of approaching a 2-quarterback system as a defense?
We just kind of look at each guy to see if there's anything different that they do based on their skill set, and then we try to attack them aggressively. We try to see if one guy's a runner more than another guy. If one guy throws certain concepts, you know, that another guy doesn't throw, we kind of try to look at everything and try to figure out what are the different skill sets they bring, and how do the teams try to utilize those to their advantage, and then we try to make sure we counter those with how we attack them.
I don't think we've gotten a chance to talk to you since either the opening week or the first week.
It's been a while.
Yeah. What have been your takeaways from the defense, in which Coach Fobbs talked for 2-3 weeks stretch about how the defense is now, or the offense is kind of complementing the defense, whereas vice versa, the offense in years past was doing a lot of heavy lifting, and now the defense has kind of come around to create a much more balanced team.
Well, I think the thing that's kind of transpired over this journey is that I think I've said that third year is a year defensively in this scheme. Of all the places that I've been and in this scheme, third year is usually the year that it all comes together and you play extremely well and you get better at it because the guys have been in it, they've learned it. And the scheme is fairly complicated, but the players, we've done a good job of mixing in good quality players. They've been in the system for a while. They understand what we do. We're doing a better job of getting off the field on third downs. We're doing a better job of fourth downs, doing a better job of red zone, not necessarily turning the ball over as much as we've had. We're nowhere near where we've been in terms of sacks just because of people's approach to us. So then we have to do a better job at the other things. And I think we're at that point now where we also have a better understanding of the people we're going against in the league because now we've played them enough. And so, we have pretty good data on them and a pretty good understanding of what it is that they're trying to do and what we need to do to stop those things. And whereas in the first couple of years, I had no idea what I was going to see on Saturday. And so now we have a better understanding, and people are kind of into their groove in terms of what they do and what they try to do versus us because we were new and different to them. And so it's kind of slowed down a little bit, and I think our players now get a greater understanding of it, and they're playing significantly better. And so that part of it, I expect it to happen. I think we've done some things in the last couple of years. I think we've done a great job in terms of turnovers and then sacks and tackles for losses. I think right now what everybody considers to be good defense is what we're playing. But I think that's I think it's kind of making the opportunities for your team to have a chance to be successful. And so I think that's kind of where we are.
How do you counterbalance the way teams approach you now defensively? If, like you said, the sacks and turnovers were maybe there before and maybe not so much now, but you're still playing well defensively, and are they just like trying to short game you, get the ball out quick? What are they doing to counterbalance your attack?
That's some of it. I think the other part of it is too, as a group, I'm at the point now too where I have a better understanding of the guys that I'm coaching against from seeing them for so long, and now I have a better understanding of, hey, what works versus what they do. And then I'm a little less hard-headed, with the guys that I'm working with. I listen a little bit more and do more things that they want to do and make adjustments, and I think we've done a good job of that. Also trying to fit the skill set of our players. The DB part of our game is a tough deal. It's a tough deal to be a DB coach in this system. I've been that guy, and I know I don't look like it, but I've been that guy. I coached corners at University of Mexico for 2 years, and so I understand what a DB coach is up against. But at the same time, there's a certain level of play that I'm after, and so I think Coach Ware and I have come to a pretty good understanding about what it is our guys can and can't do, what they need to be in versus certain things, and how we take away teams' ability to be able to beat us deep, but at the same time be able to play the short intermediate stuff fairly well. So we made that adjustment. Arquez Cooper is about as good a pass rusher linebacker I've been around, and he's a heck of a player. So you try to find ways to put him in position to threaten quarterbacks, and so he's done an excellent job of that. Blaine Winston is a nice surprise, and he's come along and he's helped us do some things, allowed us to move McCray to a bunch of different places, so we can give people, even though it's the same stuff basically we've been running, a bunch of different looks. And so that helps us look creative, but realistically, we're just making the adjustments that we need to and using our kids a little bit more wisely. And they buy into it. They're playing well doing it. Guy Stallworth's having a great year, even though he's been kind of, banged up a little bit. But Percy Cargo has come on behind him and has played extremely well, in his absence. So we're developing some guys in the system, and those guys are coming along and they're playing well, and it's been really, really good for us.
You mentioned Winston and the addition of Derek Dixon and the transfers coming in. How key have they been in for the defensive success, you think?
Good. Probably more so in just trying to take advantage of what the skills that they bring, because those kids have been in some different kinds of systems, and so you have to do a really good job trying to adjust them and make sure that you take advantage of what it is that they bring to the table. And Dixon, probably more than anything, probably gives us a little bit more stability in the back end. Just being a smart guy, he knows what his limitations are. Where Guy's kind of the wild card, Dixon's kind of the stabilizer in that back end, and Blaine is a guy up front that's helped us in our run stopping ability, because we can put him at end and put McCray at nose, and now we've got a guy who can set the edge for us, and so that makes a significant difference in how people try to attack us in terms of how they run the ball. So that's helped a tremendous amount, and so we try to take advantage of, like I said, take advantage of those skill sets and use them wisely. Those guys are still learning, which is the crazy part. They're still learning, and they got still a lot to learn, and we're nowhere near as good as I think we're going to ultimately end up being when the season's over with. So that part of it is kind of fun, but it's also nerve-wracking. Just kind of see how this is going to go down the stretch.
You mentioned nervousness in the open. How do you combat that, I guess, to get the guys focused?
The guys, heck, I don't worry too much about the guys. I worry more about me than I worry about them. Because, they're excited about playing, and they love to play, and they're going to be ready to play and get out there to go. And I think the thing we try to do with them is not create this extreme circumstance. We're a good football team. Let's just go out and play. Let's make sure they're prepared, and let's go out and play. For us, it's more of, hey, what am I going to call? What am I going to see? Just trying to make sure that, I do the right things in terms of starting the game out correctly. And that's part of that self-scouting stuff, to try to change things up so that people don't see the same thing from you, so they don't get into a flow in terms of what they think you're going to do and how you're going to do it, and you try to do things differently. And so I try to challenge myself with that kind of stuff every week.
How much is it talked about keeping an edge, because y'all were playing really well, especially defensively, and then you go in this kind of hiatus of not being able to play? I'm sure that, you know, common thought is maybe you come out flat, but how do you maintain that edge that where you were playing at the last couple weeks before the, you know, 2-3 weeks you had off?
It's how we practice. It's how we practice. It's the style of the way we practice. You know, my wife has said that, you know, she came to watch me practice once when I was a junior college head coach, and she said, that's enough for me bringing the kids to practice. So, you know, it's the way we practice. We get after it, and we make them work hard, and we make them practice hard, and we don't like the tempo. We adjust the tempo. If they don't do things the way we want them done, we find ways, creative ways to make sure that they're going to put the work in. I tell the guys all the time, I said, you're going to practice these next 6, hopefully 8 weeks anyway. So you're either going to practice them to win, or you're just going to come out here and go through the motions. If you're going to go through them and you're at this point where you have a chance to do something great, let's do it to win, and let's do it to be successful. And so we challenge them that way every single day, and our job is to not let them let up. Not let them think, hey, that it's okay to take a break. And, you know, kind of keep them working and keep them after it. And sometimes they think we're nuts, but that's the reality of, you know, the psychology of this game, particularly when you got 2-3 week breaks.
In general, how do players usually respond to your intensity on the practice field?
You know, they're kids. They're kids. Come on, coach, man. No, we got something we got to get done here. Do you realize where you are? Do you realize what you're accomplishing? Do you realize what you're getting done? Hey, let's go back to work. And they recognize that. They understand. You know, but they're kids, and to a certain degree, and we like for them to be super mature all the time. You know, they got midterms. They had midterms over the last 2 weeks. So they've had all that, and we've had other projects that we've had them doing. And so they're busy, and their time. They got a lot of things they got to do with their time. So, you know, you have to kind of stay after them, and we do. And they kind of look at you like, you know, come on, man. And then after a while, they realize, okay, I understand. Let's get to work. Let's get it done. And they understand, and then they end up doing a great job of it. So, you know, we just kind of have to keep them refocused.
Did the wife quit coming to practice because you wore those 1980 elastic coaching shorts, or non-matching socks, or
No,
she had seen enough of that?
No, she just didn't know what she was going to get out of me at practice. You know, it's kind of what my kids are. They're never sure what they're going to get out of me at practice. Some days I'm calm and fairly cool, and there are days that things happen that I don't really like, and I'm very expressive about what I don't like, and so she said that was enough for her. Yeah, for her.
What is that balance like as a defensive staff with your coaches, with you at the helm? Because sometimes, you know, like you say, you're real cool, and the other days, people just kind of step back.
Well, you know, Coach Graves has been at this a long time, and I think he understands me fairly well. You know, I'm kind of the practice guy, because my reality is I want to do all of my communication with them during the week of practice. And so on game day, I want to be the guy that's not fussing, not arguing. I'm just making corrections, cleaning up things, talking to them about what you see, what you didn't see, what are they doing, what are they not doing, so that we can make adjustments and line up and play. Whereas on Saturday, he's a guy he's a rah-rah, getting after him, aggressive guy. Where usually during the week, that's me. Mm-hmm. And where he's a guy that's calming him down, and, you know, where's the even calmer guy in the back end, you know, as opposed to me. So we do a good job, and not necessarily the good cop, bad cop. That's not really our routine, but everybody understands what our personalities are, and so they kid me a lot about, you know, how are you today? You know, and so, you know, so we have fun with it and we joke with it, but seriously, when it comes to the practices, I'm hard-nosed about how the practices go, because I recognize that how they practice is how they're basically going to go out there and give us a look on Saturday. And I have a good judgment based on how they practice, how I think they're going to do things on Saturday. And so that's my approach. Whereas Saturdays, I tell them, I'm trying to enjoy this game just like y'all are. I want to have fun just like y'all do. So I want to be able to coach it and just tell you what you got to do, clean up the mistakes, and watch you guys go and play great. And I think they start to understand that philosophy from me, and so I think we have a better relationship in terms of that kind of stuff.